strap yourself in for Keeping It Real with Jack and Raul.
Hey, Raul. Nice shirt.
I know. I love this shirt.
It's gorgeous. Suits you. You look good in it.
Good in black.
Bitches in black.
Bitches in black.
Hey, what's this episode? Oh, my God, we're recording.
We're recording.
Hey, welcome back, Keepers, to another episode.
It's quite ironic that you were giving me a compliment because this one is all about receiving compliments.
Well,
but
there you are.
I interrupted your intro then. You were saying,
welcome back, Keepers. This is another episode of Keeping It Real with Jack and Raul, because in the past you've not given me a compliment. You've growled at me because I've not done the intro. So I just did the intro. Twice.
Intro. Well done. Twice. And Gabrielle Dolan and Jack Phillips, just in case you got no idea who Jack and Raul are.
Also known as Raul.
My friends still say to me, why does Jack say your name funny? And I go, I should
Change your friends, love. That's not a compliment, that's advice.
Yeah. So, did you know that 88% of us feel extremely valued when we're given a compliment?
I didn't know that, but it doesn't surprise me.
No, in fact,
88%.
I would. What surprises me about that it's not 98%
well,
or 100%.
That's right. What's wrong with the other 12?
But did you also know that 70% of us feel uncomfortable or embarrassed with both giving and receiving compliments?
No, I did not know that. So 88% of us feel very valued and we love a compliment. It's a good thing. Yet 70% of us feel uncomfortable and so therefore don't give compliments.
Do it. Yeah.
Goodness me.
Or don't know how to accept compliments. And today we are going to talk, Keepers, about not only how you can give compliments, but how you can receive them.
I wonder if a keeper right now listening to this should just stop and think to themselves, have I given somebody a compliment today or have I received a compliment today? Just start there.
Right. Do that, Keepers. We'll give you some thinking time.
I've given you a compliment. I've said how lovely your shirt is today.
Would you like a compliment?
Okay.
Hey, I was about to, you know the TikTok, there's a TikTok sensation that was ages ago now.
You're the only one who's a TikToker around here.
It's like, it's Pookie. It's like, oh my God, you look fabulous today, Pookie.
What is Pookie? Is Pookie an animal or a person?
No, I think it's just a term of endearment.
Pookie.
Anyway, you look fabulous today, Pookie.
Thank you, Raul.
Your eyelashes look good, stunning.
Thank you, Raul.
Flattering.
Thank you, Raul.
You wear them so well.
Oh, thank you, Raul. What do you want?
Nothing. See, that's an example. Isn't that an example of sometimes we get a compliment, people go, what are they up to?
Can I go back? That's 70% of people who feel uncomfortable giving compliments. This is ringing true to me now that you've said this. I've been thinking about it because I'm coaching a lot of people and every now and again, I reckon at least once a month, if not twice a month, I'll be coaching an exec and they'll say, my boss never says thank you, never says well done, and I wish they would. So what I've been doing is when I'm talking to leaders, and it might be the same leader that's just told me that, I say to them, what would stop you from thanking someone or giving them a compliment at work? Just a bit of research I'm doing. And they have said, why would I compliment somebody on just doing their job? There's actually a really good reason why you might, right? Which you're going to talk about.
Yeah. I remember I worked for a manager, probably one of the very good managers I had, and it was the end of the week, like my first week of working with him, and he called me into the office. He said, Raul, before you leave, can I have a word? And so straight away I thought,
the worst.
Oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? And I went in and he said, how's the first week been? I went, yeah, good. It's been blah, blah, blah. He goes, I just wanted to thank you. You're showing a lot of enthusiasm and, you're doing all the right things and, and was said a few specific things and, anyway, have a great weekend. I'll see you Monday. And I was still standing there going, shocked. And is that it?
Yeah.
Is that it? And then I walked out and went, wow. And you know what? I would have been
you would have gone home on a high.
28 and I was thinking, I think that's the first time
somebody's actually
happened.
Complimented you, thanked you, but checked in. How was your first week?
Yeah.
What a good leader. What a really good leader. And I'm sure that helped shape
Phil.
Go, Phil. I'm sure that helped shape you as a leader. That would be something that you would have continued to do.
Yes. Well, I try to do. Can I tell you a funny story though? When I This was very early on in my, I guess, leadership career.
Yep.
So it was probably around about that time. So shortly after that time, I went on a leadership program because I managed 3 people at the time. So it was only a small team.
Where you start.
But I don't know whether I was given that I don't give feedback or identified in myself that I don't give positive feedback. Okay. Or I might have just, maybe because of this situation with Phil, I wanted it to be part of my leadership style.
Good.
So I set myself a daily challenge to give someone positive feedback during the day.
Every day.
Oh, my God, the amount of times I was leaving work, my team had left work, I was leaving work and I was, it was at the bank, so there was security guards at the entrance, and I'd be walking out going, oh, I didn't give anyone positive feedback. So I'd walk out and the security guard's name was Tony, and I'd walk out and go, good job, Tony, keeping us safe again. It's just like,
You got your compliment in.
I got my compliment in, but I reckon
awesome.
Tony was thinking, what the hell? But you know what? It probably made him feel really good.
It would make him feel good. A, you've acknowledged him, and B, you've given him a compliment.
I probably should have been doing it more for my team,
Well,
which
you
was the
probably
point.
should have, and you would have, because the point is you're habit stacking, right? You've told yourself, I need to give more compliments. You are recognising when you don't, and therefore then still trying to get in one. I like that.
Yeah.
And that as a result would have made it even easier in the future to keep giving compliments. And poor old Tony, he deserves a bit of well done you.
Yeah, I know he does.
Good on you.
If Tony's listening to this, he's
Good on
probably
you.
thinking, oh, is that why she was doing it?
Good on you. I
But I
like
guess
that.
the point is you've got to be deliberate about it.
Yeah, you do. You absolutely do. So again, it's about creating that habit, or it's about, first of all, recognising if you don't do it enough or you don't do it at all, and then saying, well, okay, what am I going to do about that? How am I going to make sure that happens? And I think there's a fine line. You've got to be a bit careful. You can't just go giving out compliments.
No.
Oh, gee, it's great that you got to work today, Joe.
Yeah. Good on you for turning up.
Yes.
Well, that would sound sarcastic.
Well, that
wouldn't it?
would sound exactly right.
Yeah.
So that would backfire. So it has to be deliberate, but it also has to be a little bit thoughtful.
Yes.
However, it isn't hard to comment on somebody and give them something positive about how the energy they're giving off, or gee, you've just made me feel great by doing what you did or saying what you said. I used to work with people that used to bring in flowers to the office, bring in baked goods,
Yeah.
I mean, very kind, very generous.
Yeah, that's just being
so easy to
thoughtful.
compliment them on that.
So we'll talk a bit about how to give compliments and
Yep.
receive later. But
Yep.
let's before we get into that, why? Why is this important? Because again, if we go back to
How does it make it feel?
someone that says, well, why would I give compliments when they're just doing their job? Well, let us tell you why you would give compliments. When I say we, I mean Jack.
Thank you, Ral. Why would you give somebody a compliment? Because it will actually have quite an impact. People remember others that make them feel good. Remember that great Maya Angelou quote, people won't always remember what you did. They won't always remember what you said. They won't always remember, other things, but they will always remember how you made them feel.
Like I just told that story about Phil. That was 30 years ago.
And Tony.
Yeah.
Tony feels good thanks to you saying thank you for keeping us safe. So don't underestimate the impact a compliment or something positive in the form of feedback, what the impact that gives. The other thing that I think is really, really important is when we are actually kind to other people, we build relationships and rapport. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to remember what you have just said to me. I'm going to like you for what you said to me. I'm going to want more of what you've said to me.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance you're going to need me to do something, particularly if I work for you or with you. There's a good chance, or an even better chance, I'm going to want to do that if you've paid me a compliment because I like you. So don't underestimate that. Higher productivity, builds rapport, builds connectivity, helps with reciprocity.
That's a hard word to
It's
say.
a hard
isn't
word
it?
to say.
And it's also, I guess, if you're giving specific compliments to people, which is feedback about desired behaviour, when you've got to give maybe feedback on non-desired behaviour, they're probably more likely to take that on board if that's been, they've got 9 compliments and 1 bit of tough feedback.
Yes, you're exactly right. So why would somebody not give compliments or feedback? I think that's or positive feedback or positive compliments. I think there's often the reason for it is very simple, is that they grew up in an environment where that wasn't something that was normal or that was done. Now, our parents' generations and earlier generations, and this is generalising, but it's pretty spot on. You didn't give out compliments like you do today. People didn't really care how you felt. And the idea was stiff upper lip, just get on. I mean, there were still mental health issues, but people didn't talk about them. There was anxiety, but no one even knew that was a label. So as a result, sometimes, and I've tested this with people I coach, if you grew up in an environment or a family that just did not pay you compliments, you are not about to start because that's just not familiar to you.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is something that if you want to do more of and you see the value and benefit in it, which we've just outlined, then you would actually need to create a habit.
Yeah, and be deliberate about it. And when you were talking about that, it was like parenting techniques have changed. And, you see parenting techniques saying, oh, good boy, Billy,
That's right.
for doing a wee, whatever.
Or an award at school for turning up.
I remember once my sister had to pick up the kids from school and she sent me a text and she went, you have to be kidding me. Some kids just got an award for thinking good thoughts.
How do they know what their child was thinking? That's too funny.
But it is, I guess what it's doing, and this is the other benefit, it's not just about making people feel good, right? No. But that absolutely it's reinforcing the behaviour.
Reinforcing good behaviour.
We do it with our children.
Absolutely.
We do it with our animals.
Absolutely.
So
exactly right.
If you
do it with our husbands.
We do it with our
good
husbands.
boy, Richard.
You did a wee.
In the toilet, not on the seat.
I can tell you here's another little funny story. No permission of my kids for this, but the other month, Jess was here with a newish boyfriend, Wes, and Wes had gone to the bathroom, and Jess was looking after Digger, and Jess had taken Digger out to do a wee because he's injured at the moment, so we have to carry him everywhere. And as Wes was walking out of the bathroom, Jessie's going to Digger, good boy for doing a wee. And
Wes thought she was talking to him.
And then she went, oh, my God, I'm not talking to you.
Oh, I like it. Go, Jess, starting out with that positive reinforcement for Wes when he does a wee. Love it.
But it is, that's
parenting, so important.
Why.
I remember Rich saying years ago, tell them what we want them to be.
Yeah.
We want you to be a good person. We want you to be hardworking. And so compliment on those behaviours so that they do more of them, as opposed to punishing the things that you don't want done.
A lot of the work I do in organisations around sharing stories around values. So, values, behaviours is what we want people to do. Yes, I get the leaders to share personal stories on the values, but it's also catching employees doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So you catch them doing the right thing, catch them living the values and call it out and actually say, what you did yesterday with that customer, be specific about it. And because that is what we mean by exceptional customer service or whatever the value is.
I used to make a point of writing down every week somebody in the team who had done something that was just a bit over and above, and I gave out compliments regularly. I'm very positive. I'm an optimist, so I see good in lots of things, and would make a point, in our team meetings, calling out somebody each week.
Yeah.
And I would obviously change it up each week, so it wasn't the same person all the time. And sometimes it was for just doing their job. Now, there are some leaders that will say, why would I go and compliment someone for just doing their job? And it goes back to because you want
your job.
People to take priority and be proud about what they're doing. And so to actually compliment them around something specific. And exactly right, it is a leader's job. Yeah. That is true. Hey, and it costs nothing, by the way. It costs nothing to give a compliment. So why would you not?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get it.
Well, the stats show because people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So let's get into some specifics about how to receive a compliment.
Good idea.
And then how to give it. So receiving compliments, this is how you don't, and I see so many people do this. They will say things like, you'll say to me, oh, Raoul, nice shirt, as you said before. And some people go, oh, really? Do you think? Oh, this old thing, it only costs whatever. And now what it's doing, it's diminishing your feedback. And to me, also when people give you a compliment about your shoes or your shirt or your suit, you didn't make it, right? It's not really about you. And I have this, a lot of people compliment me on my shoes and I just go, thanks, they're really cool shoes, aren't they? They're, they're from a habit or design, or people go, I love your jacket, or, I go, yeah, I love it too. It was like, it's just, so accept it. So
accept it.
When it's not even about you, it's just about something you're wearing, just accept it. But if it is about you, the first thing is you got to get good at accepting.
I agree.
And it can be Thank you.
That's where you must start.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The first thing is to say thank you.
Agree.
You could start and stop at thank you.
And leave it at that.
Or you go, thank you, that actually means a lot to me.
Or that makes me feel really great.
Thank you, that makes me feel great. Or thank you, I actually wasn't sure if it worked or not, but I'm glad it
feel it does.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, if I say to you, great shirt, and to your point, well, you didn't make the shirt, it's just a great shirt. Maybe I'm better to say, hey, Rael, great shirt, you wear it well.
Yes.
So then I'm complimenting the fact that it's a great shirt, but also the reason why I've noticed it is because you're wearing it. Yeah. And it looks great on you.
I have this blue shirt and a blue suit actually, and a lot of the times people say to me, I love your suit. It really brings out the blue in your eyes.
that
And you go,
electric blue.
oh, thank you. And I just go, oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. I think I shared the story when I was in Arizona and a little girl came up to me, like who was about, I don't know, 3 or 4, and said, I love your look. I was like, I swear to God, I was just like, oh my God. And this is coming from a little girl who's a stranger.
How did you respond? What did you say
I
back?
said, thank you. You have made my day.
What a nice.
And then I said, and I actually love your look too.
Beautiful.
So
did you feel that you needed to say that, or you actually?
I think because she was a little girl, I felt like I did. I had another situation. I spoke about this last time. Americans are really good at giving compliments. I was in the JFK, the airport. I was in the airport, and because I was only traveling with carry-on luggage, I was actually wearing some of my better clothes that I wouldn't normally wear on a plane. And I had a sun hat that I didn't want to squash. So, you were walking through the airport and you've got your passport and your phone, and I'm carrying my bag.
Oh, you would have looked like a rock star.
I know.
Sunglasses,
and my
hat,
bag was red and my
suit.
suit was red, and I had like red florally pants on, and I had my sun hat on. And I must admit, I thought, I look like a wanker or a rock star, right? And
Go the rock star.
2 people, like one person was running by me because she was running in the airport, clearly running late for her plane, and she just yelled out, she goes, oh my God, I love your outfit, I love your look. And because she was running, I just said, thank you.
Yeah, how gorgeous.
But yeah, in those situations I said thank you. But it does make you feel better.
It does, but receiving feedback is really important. If you want to be somebody who gets more compliments, then receive it well.
Yeah.
So start with thank you.
Yeah.
What else could you say? Thank you. That makes me feel good.
Thank you for taking the time to write it. Like, especially when you get it, you and I, we get feedback about
all the time.
About the podcast, right?
Yeah, we do.
I always say thank you for taking the time to let me know.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people love it but don't take the time.
No, that's right. They don't,
So I
they
think
don't
it's
say it. Hint keepers.
Yeah, hint keepers. We love feedback. But when sometimes you give people feedback and they don't, like they will say something like, I was just doing my job.
Yes.
So now I'm sort of thinking, well, you weren't. And I'm like, well, maybe you were, but
I can still compliment you on
and then
doing
you
your
sort of
job.
go, oh well, I won't give that compliment next time.
So this is the I guess challenge with, if you don't receive compliments well, then the chances are people will give
stop
them to
giving
you
them.
less.
Yeah.
And that's not what you want, actually.
No.
I don't know anyone who doesn't want to feel valued, 88%, as we said.
yeah.
We're not sure about the other 12%, but that's fine.
Yeah.
However, if you are uncomfortable giving compliments, then stop and think why. Is it because it's just not familiar to you, or do you feel that it could be taken the wrong way? Now, here's an example. As a leader, you are in a position of power, right? And you want to behave in a way that is appropriate. I think you have to be careful, and I think this would be the case for a lot of men. I could see men not wanting to look like they're saying the wrong thing, perhaps to a female, about what they're wearing, or even paying them a compliment about their work in case it's taken the wrong way.
Yes.
How do we handle that? How do we encourage male leaders to still give females compliments without it being icky or in any way misconstrued?
Yeah. So I think in that situation you got to focus on the work, not
the what,
not the looks or whatever. Like you don't want to be.
No,
I mean you shouldn't necessarily be complimenting people on looks anyway.
No, that's true.
I remember once though I did a workshop, I did a keynote, and I was speaking to a whole lot of people afterwards, and this guy said he was talking to me for a while, and he went, how long do you think you can talk to someone before giving them a compliment about their eyes? And I went, I don't know why. And he goes, I just wanted to tell you you've got really amazing eyes. And I went, thank you. But it didn't feel creepy at all.
No, and he was very thoughtful about
Yes, he was aware.
it coming across right, so which is why he asked that question. That's a good example.
I think you just don't want to be, first of all, you don't want to be complimenting people in a work situation about their looks.
No. Hey, saw you on Instagram last week. You look great in that bikini. Ooh.
Pookie.
Pookie. All right, so being able to receive.
But receiving. So the first thing is accept with thank you. That means a lot. Thanks for taking the time. And if it is something about what you're wearing, go, oh, yeah, I wasn't sure at work, so thanks a lot because it's made me feel that. If someone's thanking you for something that you didn't do or wasn't you, I think the key is to redirect. Like if someone said, Raoul, I loved your, podcast episode on receiving compliments. I go, yeah, it was a good one. That was actually Jack's idea.
Yeah,
so I'll let her know. So you
can do it that way.
Can redirect that way.
I used to do that on behalf of the team regularly. I'd be told something by the CEO or the executive leadership team, and I would say, thank you. I'm going to make sure the team is aware of that because they did the work.
Yeah, and that is the other one, especially if your team share that feedback.
Yeah.
So,
well, I used to go one step further. Not only did I share that feedback, I would ask them, the CEO, to send the team a note. Could you just actually relay to them what you've just done to me? Coming from you is going to be a lot stronger.
Yeah, well, that's even better. So, our Will Gadara, who we've mentioned a lot in previous podcasts, the author of Unreasonable Hospitality, he talks about that he often gets feedback about, his team members from the restaurant.
Yeah.
And he makes a point of sharing that with them and the team. And I think he actually does the same thing too.
Yes.
Could you put that in writing so I can share it with the team?
I like that.
So that's how to receive, accept.
Yep.
Just accept it.
Acknowledge and thank.
And thank you can be simple. Don't start making, oh, no, it's just blah, blah.
Nice.
Redirect if needed and definitely share it if the feedback's about someone else.
Love it.
So what about giving? How do we give?
Yeah, well, how do we give? So we try and think about something specific and look, it can be about what you're wearing. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
But in a work scenario, don't make it just about what somebody is wearing or how they look, but instead focus on the effort or the actual outcome of what they've done.
Yeah.
And say, gee, Raoul, when we presented that report you did the other day, the analysis of it, it really got a great response. So thank you for all the effort and time and care you took.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not just saying, thanks for that, but
going into some detail.
More detail.
Go into some detail.
So there's a great Harvard Business Review article on giving and receiving compliments, which we'll put in the show notes. But they talk about 4 things around giving, and it's a lot of what you just covered then, but it's authentic.
Yeah.
So I think we said don't piss in people's pockets.
Don't bullshit.
Right?
Nothing
don't
worse.
bullshit. Just like be genuinely authentic.
Have you heard of that? Ass liquor.
You're such a great ass liquor, Pookie.
You and your Pookie.
Be authentic, right?
Yep.
That definitely make this authentic compliments. Be specific is what you just said.
Give the examples.
And just try to be specific about what it is that they did. And then the other thing they talk about is the process. So it could be, I know you had to work back late to do that, or I know you had to really, you took on some training or whatever, but the process they took through, and then most important, the impact.
Yeah.
So the impact, that actually made me my preparation for the meeting so much easier. Or I've had a client talk about this and how they felt about it. So talk about, they say authentic, specific, process, impact.
Nice, like it. That is really some really great tips. Actually, be deliberate. I used to block out some time in my diary and think, okay, it's time to actually send some compliments out. I need to go and thank a couple of people, either verbally or I need to send a quick note. Yeah. So actually be deliberate in this. If you're not somebody who does this often or it doesn't roll off the tongue as easily, then set some time to do it. Like
I did, like my challenge
That's
I
right,
had
with Tony.
and I like that idea. Put 10 minutes in your diary.
Yeah.
This is
Be
my
deliberate.
compliment time. And it could be sending someone a text. It could be making a phone call.
Correct.
It could
be an email.
Giving a 5-star review or rating. Just saying.
Could be sipping the best wine in the world. Now there's a compliment.
There's a compliment.
Well, Duck Creek Estate.
Hey, we're going to cover this off at the end, but we'll do it now. our friends at Wild Duck Creek Estate have got some new wines out, and
Ooh, I can
they
taste them
are
now.
offering it again at a very
Special
good
rate.
price for our keepers. So, as usual, if you want to take advantage of that, get into their website, Wild Duck Creek Estate, go to the top right-hand corner called Keeping It Real or Keep It Real, put in keepers, all lowercase.
KEEPERS.
Jack likes to spell it because she clearly thinks our keepers can't spell. But we've agreed with them that they'll constantly change their offering.
Yeah.
So get in and have a look at it. They've got some new releases in there. So
Not hard to compliment Wild Duck Creek Estate. Liam Anderson and the team, they're just awesome. Best
Yeah.
wine in the world. Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So-
He's in
so-
the US at the moment too, by the way.
yes,
Americans
so
are buying it.
So maybe find 10 minutes to be specific. And maybe it's like if you manage your team, look for people.
Look for it.
Make it it's a habit.
Absolutely.
And you got to be deliberate
Absolutely.
with it. So
And don't be afraid to help coach somebody if they don't receive your compliment well. Okay.
Yes.
So if you pay a compliment to somebody and they start to say, oh, this old thing, or oh, that didn't take me long, and women will often do this,
Yeah.
they're not used to being said well done. So they'll start to deflect. Actually say, no, I want you to accept that compliment.
Yep.
Just say thank you.
yeah, do that. Literally, I'm going to
good
give that
thing to do.
again, and I want you to say thank you. Like thank you, full stop. Thank you is a sentence.
I'd like to pay someone a compliment in this room.
Who?
Keehlan,
Oh, I thought you were going to give me a compliment. What do you like about Keehlan?
how long have you got? I think he is patient. He is supportive. He
He's
giggles.
bloody
and
patient
he
working with us.
giggles in all the right spots. And he actually creates fantastic clips and produces us very well.
Yes, he's
Thank
a
you,
great
Keehlan.
producer. Yeah, he does laugh at all our jokes, even when they're not funny.
He gets a coaching session every bloody month, poor boy. But he just said thank you. So he's taken on board.
He's taken on board
the feedback.
It's taken on board. What you don't want to do when you give a compliment is give a complisalt,
Complisalt.
which is a cross between a compliment and an insult.
Insult. Oh, I like that.
And
Complisalt.
I know some people that do this all the
Okay, give me an
time.
example of a complisalt.
Complisalt was, I really like your hair, Jack. Much
you.
better than how you had it last time.
Ooh. Or what about, you look like you've slept better.
Yes.
Right, how I looked before.
But they sort of give a compliment and then they add the little bit of the insult. That it's not
So
not
be aware of
necessary.
that, a complisalt. So just say something nice.
Just say something nice. You don't need to add the, Yeah, it'd be
Little
like,
dig in the end.
you're looking well because last time I saw you, you looked like shit. Right? That is not necessary, that end bit.
And what do I say? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Well, so then the point
No,
is you
thanks.
go, great, thanks for that.
Yeah. So it actually doesn't achieve
It doesn't
what
achieve
you
anything.
have been talking about. All right. So giving and receiving compliments. What a great episode. Really important to give them and really important to receive them well. And start giving and receiving compliments. If you grew up in a household or you are not somebody who does this very often, what about starting?
Yeah.
It could bring a whole lot of productivity, efficiency, staff engagement, loyalty, and generally happier people. What's not to love?
What's not to love? So hopefully this has been a value. Keepers, thank you for
Thank
your
you.
engagement. We have got probably one of the most engaged followers.
Yeah.
We do genuinely really appreciate the texts we get, the LinkedIn posts, the sharing of our content. So thank you for that. So until next time, we will speak to you then.
Thanks, Raul.
Thank you, Jack.
You've been listening to another episode of Keeping It Real with Jack and Raul. If you like what you've heard, don't forget to tell others about it and give a 5-star review. They may seem confident, but they really are sensitive 5-star needy souls. Yeah, right. Keeping It Real, created by Jack Phillips and Gabriel Dolan. Produced by Keehlan Ferrari-Brown. And this really real voiceover, spoken by Richard Phillips.